Because promises mean nothing. It's the pathways. And here you are in love, and you're believing this guy? But kids, this is why your parents freak out over your friends and the guys and the girls that you bring home. Because again, you guys have a song, and they're looking at paths and trends and behaviors and previous relationships and how much debt did you say he had and how long has he been divorced, really? And they're like, oh my gosh, run. And you're like, yeah, but our initials are the same. It's like, oh, well then let's just have a ceremony now, you know? And I'm kind of making fun, but I'm telling you, when you fall in love, you'll believe anything. Now listen to what Solomon contrasts that with. The simple believe anything, but the prudent give thought to their steps. Say this word with me. Do you know why that's an important word? Because steps, when you look at a person's steps, you can tell where they're going. See, words are meaningless. Promises are meaningless. Commitments are almost meaningless. It's the past that's the best indicator of where a person is headed and where they will probably end up. That's true of who you date, and that's true of who you are. You can summarize it this way with this statement: that paths people choose trump the commitments they make. The paths people choose trump the commitments they make. When you look at your life, when you examine the life of the people you're dating, the question is not where are they and not what they have they promised. The question is where have they been and where are they headed? Last little pithy statement, then we're going to move on, is this same idea. The past is a better indicator than a promise. The past is a better indicator than a promise. So here's all I'm saying. If you're committed to becoming the person you're looking for is looking for, if you're committed to becoming the kind of person that would attract the person you hope to attract, if you're committed to this process, then here's what I want you to commit to. I want you to commit now. Next slide. I want you to commit now to becoming someone who can keep their commitments later. I want you to commit now, not to a person, not to a relationship, not to a marriage. I want you to commit now to becoming someone who can keep their commitments later. This is the goal. This is what you should be working on, so that when you say I do, you really can do, you know? When you say I will, that you'll have the ability to actually follow through. You won't be one of those people that means well and is not capable, but becomes accountable and then is miserable. You don't have to do that. But what determines whether or not you're going to be ready to actually fulfill what you promise is what you do between now and then. And if you will commit now to becoming the kind of person who can commit and keep their promises and their vows later, then you'll be good to go. So here's what I want to do in our remaining few minutes. I want to go through a list. I'm going to go through these pretty quick. The first one will take a little longer than the rest, but I'm going to hit these quick. I want to give you some very, very, very specific single people assignments as you think about what you need to be in the process of doing now, committing to now, so that when you make a commitment later, you'll actually be able to keep your promise. And let me say in general, the things that we talk about at this church week after week after week, online or live, the things that we talk about week after week are some of those things. A few weeks ago, Jeff Henderson did an incredible message on forgiveness. As a single person, you need to develop the habit of forgiving. A few weeks ago, we talked about confession and learning to confess to other people and having accountability. You need to do that as a single person. That generally, everything we talk about at this church week to week in all of our environments are things that if you'll embrace these habits, if these will become your ways, your patterns, your behaviors, your habits, then you are equipping yourself to be in a position to say yes, I do, and mean what you say. But in addition to those general kind of people, life skills, again, I want to give you some very, very specific things to do. And the first one is the most difficult. And here's the first one. You need to address your unresolved childhood issues. Now, that's a big category. That's a series of messages, isn't it? Let me give you a quote from some professionals that kind of drill down on this. This is pretty powerful. This is what they say. If you attempt to build intimacy with a person, like get married someday, if you attempt to build intimacy with a person before you've done the hard work of becoming a whole and healthy person, every relationship will be an attempt to complete the hole in your heart. Here's what they're saying. If you attempt to move toward intimacy in dating, not just physical intimacy, but like you're the one for me, I'm the one for you, I'm giving myself to you passionately, fully, fearlessly, all those things we've talked about. If you attempt intimacy without first becoming a whole and healthy person, all of your relationships will feel like they have a hole in them. Now, single people, I'm telling you, you'll never be less motivated. You'll never have more time. The number one thing you can do to prepare for to get to the place where you can say yes and mean it is to become whole and healthy. And for most of you, that means turning around and facing and addressing issues from your childhood. Now, I'm going to show you a diagram that I've never shown single people before. I've only shown married people. And when I've shown married people this diagram, I realize when I'm drawing it for them, it's mostly too late. And I thought to myself, why am I showing married people this? It's too late. I should show single people this. So this was worth the price of admission right here. Here's what I draw for married people. I draw this. I say, okay, here's you. And here's your parent or your parents. You know, she was ran off, or he ran off, or, you know, they weren't around, or he wouldn't come to your ball games, or he drank too much, or, you know, whatever. And now here you are as a single person, and you got all this drama with your parents. You're either angry or you don't care, and you say, no, I don't have any drama. I send her a Mother's Day card. That's it? Well, that's it. We just don't talk. Okay, well, see, if you don't talk with your living parents, hello, okay? So most single people don't think they have, but if you have any of this, this is a heads up, okay? In fact, when I show you this next slide, it's gonna take every ounce of self-control on the behalf of some married people not to do this. Okay, so married people, just get ready. None of this. You just look straight ahead, make eye contact, and smile, okay? Because I'm telling you, single people, this is huge. Here's what happens if you have any drama, if you have any leftover angst with mama or daddy, when you get married, here's what happens. Your spouse goes right there, and they catch it. And here's the bad thing. They don't know why you're so upset, and you don't know why they don't shape up. And you cannot win this. You cannot win. This is dead in the water. Nobody wins. And if you're the spouse, you're going, all I said was I'd like to be a few minutes early, and whoa, all I said was, all I said, I don't understand why he overreacts, why she overreacts. And you're over here going, I don't understand it either, but I'm not going to tell him. Then you're just going to keep shoveling it in his or shoveling it in her direction. And I'm telling you, when you're this person, you can't see this in the mirror. When this dynamic happens in a marriage, these couples, if they're smart, they go to counseling. And months and months and months and months and months later, and thousands of dollars later, if they're lucky, this person goes, oh, so I'm still mad at my mama. And this person goes, yes. And they don't say out loud, and I've been trying to tell you, you can't say that out loud, okay? Now, single people, I'm telling you, this is enormous. If you come from a home that there's there was divorce in your home, you probably got some of this. If dad was there but wasn't there, you got some of this. If mom was kind, you've got some of this. It's just normal, it's natural. There's nothing wrong with you, but you don't want to drag that into your next relationship. The smartest thing you can do is deal with it. And I'm going to give you a tool. And I've been doing this long enough to know that most of you aren't going to do what I'm about to ask you to do. But one day you'll get married and go, oh yeah, I should have done that. So here's the deal. I'm going to send you to a website, okay? I'll give you a website. On this website, we have two resources. Now just listen carefully, don't laugh, okay? Are you listening? If you're only hearing this, it's northpoint.org/fight club. Northpoint.org/fight club. On this website, there is a link. On this website, there are 4 messages for free, but on this website, there is a link to a message that'll cost you $1.99 by Louis Giglio. It'll be the best $1.99 you've ever spent. Don't listen to my messages first. Listen to his message first. It's part of a series he did called Boy Meets Girl. Start there. Even if you're sitting here going, I don't have any drama with you need to listen to that message. It's worth $199. It may save you $1,099. It may save your first marriage. After you listen to that message, then back up and listen to the first 2 messages in the Fight Club series. Those are for free. You owe it to yourself to allow someone to stir this up in you as a single person to decide, do I have some things I need to deal with? You will never be less motivated. You will never have more time. So please, please, please don't drag unnecessary angst into a future relationship. Deal with it now, okay? That's the first one. The rest will go a lot quicker. Ladies, here's what you need to do to get ready. Don't dress like a commodity, and don't put up with being treated like one. This goes back to the second week. Don't dress like a commodity, and don't put up with being treated like one. Now, ladies, listen to me. If in your dating, you get in the habit of being treated like a commodity, guess what's going to happen when you're married? Your husband's going to do the same thing. If he dated you like a commodity, he's going to treat you like a commodity. You should have no tolerance for being treated like a commodity. None at all. None at all. And this may go back to step one that we just went through, but you need to deal with this. And ladies, just a little tip from the world of fishing. Do you know how a fisherman determines what to bait his hook with? What he's fishing for. That's pretty deep. Let me go over that again. Do you know what a fisherman determines what to bait his hook with? It depends on what he's fishing for. Ladies, if you fish with your body, you're going to catch body snatchers every single time. Okay? I'm just telling you. If you troll with your bodies, you're going to catch, and this is what you're going to say. You're going to say, all men are alike. All men are alike. And I'm going to tell you now what I tell young ladies when they tell me that. I say, no, not all men are alike. All the men you date are alike. Ooh, that's what happens. Ooh, Then they get mad at me. And then I say this, all the men you go out with are alike, and all the men that ask you out are alike. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's take the last 10 guys you've dated. And let's look at those. There was him and you, 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 him and you. What is the common denominator in all those dates? That would be you. So come on. And ladies, I'm not upset with you. I just want to, listen. God created you. You are so much more than a body. Save the body for later. I'm telling you, save it for later. Don't troll with your body. That's a no-win for you. Troll with your love for God, your passion for God, your brain, your job. You have so many other things going for you. Don't troll around with your body. You're going to end up in the same kind of relationships over and over. You're going to get jaded, and you're going to think all men are pigs. And most of them are, but there are a lot of men who actually aren't. And here's the thing, and going back to the point of this message, I want you to be prepared to keep the promises you make, which means you've got to marry somebody who's prepared to keep his promises. And if you catch him with your body and the way you dress, you're going to have to keep him with your body and the way you dress. And I have some bad news for you. As cute as you are now, that's all I'm going to say. Okay. Just saying. Men, here's your... Memorize part 2 of this series. That's all you got to do, okay? You just go back to bar. Okay, next thing I want to tell you to get ready to be happily married is this. You need to get out of debt. Now, this is ginormous. This is huge. This is so big now. In some of our premarital counseling situations, we tell people we're not going to recommend you get married till you get out of debt. Now, here's why. You may not believe this. Just trust me. You can get out of debt a lot quicker as a single person than a married person. In fact, all the married people that believe me, just say amen. There you go. You can get out of debt a lot quicker as a single person as a married person. And if you're a single person who has so poorly managed your finances that you have a lot of debt, when you get married, that's a path, that's a behavior, that's a trend, that's a habit that you're carrying into marriage. Ladies, even if he decides, says, don't worry, honey, we get married, I'm going to pay off all your debts. Great. Now you're going to be an irresponsible person that just had all their debts paid off. Then nothing's changed. And marriage has enough struggles of its own. The last thing you need is an additional unnecessary layer of pressure. Get yourself out of debt. And I'll tell you what will motivate you. If you decide, you know what, I'm in love, we can't wait to get married, we're not getting married till we both get out of debt. Do you know how fast you'll get out of debt? You won't even believe how creative you'll get. God will honor it. Somebody's going to come along and help you. It's like this I promise. Amazing things will happen. But if you carry unnecessary dumb debt, consumer debt, credit card debt into marriage, that's just not smart. So between now and the time you get married, one of the ways that you can commit, one of the ways you can prepare to keep your commitments is develop financial habits that ensure you got out of debt and you never get in debt again. It's one of the best preparations you can make. And ladies, for those of you ladies, you got good jobs and you've stayed out of debt and you're dating Bozo, and he just got kind of a job and he's got a lot of debt, but you're in love and you got a song in the clouds and all that. I'm telling you, just trust me. Tell him, you know what? You get out of debt, then we'll talk about a date. You get out of debt. If you don't have the discipline to get out of debt before I marry you, the last thing I want to do is ruin my credit score with your bad debt. And you know what, ladies? If he loves you, he'll move in with mama to get out of debt in order to marry you. He should do that if he loves you. So get out of debt. Along with that, okay, broader ideas is break your bad habits. Now, let me tell you why I put this one in here. Single people. Marriage was not designed to solve any problems. That's not what it is. It doesn't solve any problems. In marriage, the great things get better and the bad things get worse generally. It doesn't solve any problems. So if you have a bad habit now, then you're going to have a bad habit and be married. That's all that's going to happen. If you drink too much now, you drink too much then. You got a prescription addiction thing, it's just going to get worse, except somebody's going to know. You got a gambling thing now, it's just going to be worse. You got a porn thing now, it's just going to be worse. You got a debt thing, shopping thing, can't stay out of debt thing, it's just going to be worse. To prepare to be able to look at somebody and say this, I'm going to honor and cherish you. You're going to be the priority of my life. I'm never going to do anything to hurt you or to harm this relationship. Then break your bad habits now. And you already know what they are. Now let me flip this around and see if this doesn't make sense. Don't you hope that the guy you marry someday or the girl you marry someday, wouldn't it be great if before they married you, they broke all their bad habits? Do you really? Well, here's what happens. He comes along and he says, yeah, well, I got this thing over here on the side that I struggle with, but baby, sugar baby, once you marry me, you'll be able to help me. Yeah, all the married people went, oh. And ladies, you just look at him and say, you need your mama and a counselor, not me. Okay, so go make an appointment with a counselor and talk to your mama. I'm not here to help you with your bad habits. I want to be loved and I want to be cherished. I don't want to prop you up. And you say, Andy, that doesn't sound very loving. It's not meant to be loving. This is just the reality. You need to be a whole person who's looking for a whole person. And when you see a person with a hole in them, you say, hey, you're great. Let's have dinner. But you got issues to deal with. Don't complicate, because once you get married, everything gets more complicated. Everything gets more complicated. And I promise you this, I would bet my car on this, that whatever their issue is 6 months into your marriage, it will be your fault. And you're going, how in the world could they spin a gambling habit into being my fault? You just wait. It's amazing how creative married people get. 6 months in, whatever their issue was before they married you will somehow be your fault. You've been warned. I don't want you to deal with that. Okay, men, here's what you need to do. Memorize part 2 of this series, okay? Because ladies, they don't listen. So I thought I'd have to say it twice. Okay. All right, next one, I'm gonna hit these quick. When you're dating, postpone the physical of your dating relationships ALAP, as long as possible. Okay, and when I physical, I'm not talking about sex, I'm just talking about everything else, okay? Just postpone the physical. And let me tell you, I've been doing this a long time. I've never heard anyone say to me, I think our relationship would have been better and healthier if we'd gotten physical faster. Never heard that. But I can't even begin to tell you how many times people have said, you know what, we got physical quick. I mean, first date, second date, third date, I spent the night, and next thing, because you know this, the physical part of a relationship, it's a fog, it's a mist. Women, you want to know he's coming back. You want to know he's coming back. And he's over there going, that wasn't quite what I thought it would be. That wasn't quite what I thought it would be. And then you're in trouble. So just postpone the physical. And ladies, if some guy ditches you because 3 or 4 dates in, you're not going to let him come in and roll around on the couch. You just say, hey, you need a mama and a counselor, okay? I'm not that person. It's okay. And guys, if you just feel like it's just come on, just remember, you're not the first guy. So come on. I'm just saying, you're looking for the one, not everyone. And when I put on this series, I said, this isn't for people who are just players. This is for people who see dating as a means to an incredible end. Just postpone the physical as long as possible. Put it off so long that they begin to wonder if you're even interested in that part. And then when it comes up, you go, oh yeah, I'm interested. And last thing on this is huge. Do the research, Google it for yourself. I'm not making this up. Self-control before you're married results in self-control after you're married. You know why? Listen to me. Because self-control is a path. Self-control is a behavior. Self-control is a pattern. The men and women that are most, if I can use a term we don't use much, the men and women that are most promiscuous before their marriage are far, 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 check it out yourself, far more likely to have an affair after marriage. The statistics are in. I mean, the research is in. People have tracked this for years and years and years. The best thing you can do to invest in your future marriage is to exercise self-control while you date and to date somebody that does the same thing, because the past is a better indicator of the future than a promise any day of the week. Along these same lines, and I almost decided not to do this one, is, go to the next one if we could, is avoid living together. Now, again, don't take my word for it. You know, chalk me up as the religious guy. What would you expect the preacher to say? Look at the research yourself. There is no evidence at all, and a lot of research has been done on this. There is no evidence at all that living together prepares anyone for marriage. The opposite is true. The opposite is true. Check it out yourself. Couples who live together have a far higher chance of divorce. An individual that has lived with 2 or 3 people, it is almost a zero possibility for them, according to the statistics, almost zero chance that your first marriage will last. Now, I understand this about statistics. They're only important if they support what you're currently doing. See there? We're right. No one ever makes relationship decisions based on statistics because you think you're going to be the exception. But I just got to tell you, because I love you, this is not a path to happily ever after. In fact, women move in with men thinking it's a step toward marriage. Men move in with women to try it out to see if they think they want to stay. It's 2 very, very different perspectives. I'm just telling you, avoid moving in, living together.